Welcome to a one-on-one edition of Wadeboshiverson. This time it's on baseball. Not sure my intro's so good yet. Mano y mano, one-on-one, uno de uno. One of ones too. Why baseball? Because the best second baseman in baseball just signed somewhere. A man by the name of Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano. Kind of sounds like New York Yankee. Robinson Cano. New York Yankee. Yeah, it fits. It's about right. Lots and lots of money. Robinson Cano. New York Yankee. There's a pretty good correlation between there. Cano, good, playoffs, Yankees, lots of money, all in a row. Mariners. Low budget, terrible, lose a ton, never have any other good players other than Felix Hernandez. And why he stays, I have no idea. Losing. Fan base that hates the Mariners because the ownership sucks. Robinson Cano? Spending money? The best second baseman? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. But here I am, talking about Robinson Cano as a Mariner. For 10 years. The first player, I believe, in Mariner history to ever receive a 10-year contract. Robinson Cano. 10 years, $240 million with a no-trade clause, which is pretty well worthless because Seattle's pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to places free agents want to go. So, a number of people texted me, obviously knowing that I'm a big Mariner fan, despite the fact that I know they're terrible. For some, it's just one of those things that I just enjoy the pain. I don't know what it is. Considering they haven't won in over a decade. And so the first thing that I said basically to everyone was, I am so ecstatically excited about such a stupid move. And that's really what it is. How can you not be excited? How can any fan in Seattle not say, oh my God, we just got the best second baseman in all of baseball, the best free agent, and one of the best hitters in all of baseball? Save maybe Mike Trout and Miguel Cabrera. He's probably third on that list. I can't really come up with any other good names in the NL that can top him. I mean, really, he's the third best hitter in baseball. And he's now a Seattle Mariner. How can you not be excited about that? You have to. Now, where you don't get so excited about is 10 years from now when he's 40 years old and he's still getting paid $24 million. That's going to hurt. Or if tomorrow he gets ran over by a bus, that's going to hurt a lot for both the Mariners and Cano. Or if he sprains his wrist, he's out a little while, skills diminish. This is going to turn really ugly really quickly. But the big issue that I have with the whole thing is that it's the Mariners. If this was Detroit, if this was Toronto, if this was Texas, if this was Boston, if this was the Mets, if this was the Yankees, if this was the Rangers, if this was the Los Angeles Angels. Or was that Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim? Something like that. Dodgers, the Braves, I'll even throw in St. Louis. I'll even put in the Nationals. We are talking about a team that was, I believe, 22nd in budget in the Mariners last year at about $81 million. And also with I believe, the second worst attendance in all of baseball, memory serves me correct. And that's for good reason, considering they set historic records for how bad their offense was. In the last 5 years, they have set 3 of the lowest batting averages in the modern era of baseball. That takes some talent. And last year, they just blew out the strikeout record. It really quite incredible. But how does a team that's 22nd, spending about $80 million a year, afford to plop down Hernandez making $23 million this year and $24 million for Cano? We're talking about $47 million. We're talking about 65% of your total payroll being spent on 2 players. 2. You throw in Iwakuma, who's making $7.5 million. Then you've got just shy of $60 million being tied up in 3 players. It's kind of amazing, really. I mean, $60 million, 3 players, that's about 75% of your total salary. So it tells me that ownership obviously has decided to open up the purse strings a little bit, which is good because this is the first time in a long time. 10 years ago, they had a payroll that was $40 million more, which, if that tells you anything. And they got him. And I think it's a terrible move, but it's a move that they had to make. They had to do this. They had to get him. If it was $270 million, they had to get him. If it was $300 million, that's what it would take. That's what they would have to do. That's what they would have to go out and do. Because now, for the first time in over a decade, if Robinson Cano has a decent year, all of a sudden, every free agent and every hitter is not going to say that's the death wasteland in baseball for all hitters to go and die. Adrian Beltre proved that it was a terrible place to go. Alex Rodriguez left because of it. And there hasn't been a hitter since that's really hit in Safeco Field. Save the steroided up Brett Boone. Yeah. That's really the only guy who's hit home runs in the last long time. The exception of a 42-year-old Raul Ibanez. Not sure how that worked. But they had to do that. They had to go out, get Cano, and show and prove that you can hit in Safeco Field. You have to prove, and you have to also, because now you have Felix Hernandez, who you can talk about as being the best pitcher in baseball. You have Robinson Cano, who you can talk about being the best hitter in baseball. You can't tell me that as a free agent, somebody's not going to come in and say, that team has the best hitter and the best pitcher in baseball. I'd like to go play there. So while they completely, radically, over the top, spent way too much on Robinson Cano, the effects of the amount of money that it's going to save them on every free agent thereafter, on the amount of ticket sales it's going to bring in, on the amount of TV revenue that this is going to help bring in, and the amount that Robinson Cano is going to mean to this Seattle community is so much more than he would have done over for the New York Yankees. I mean, you can't tell me that the Yankees can't get one of their million players that they're paying $40 million every single day to and get them on a commercial or, put their face on a ticket stub. The Yankees don't have to worry about selling tickets. The Mariners do. And this is a move that makes the Mariners relevant. It says, hello, we're no longer the Houston Astros. Even though the Astros have been better than the Mariners have in the last 10 years. But please, stay with me here. So that's why they had to go out and do it. And so, was it a terrible move and am I unhappy about it? Yeah. But it's the best move they could do and it was necessary. They did what they had to do for the first time in a long time. I would have personally have moved for Prince Fielder at the time. I would have actually traded Texas right now, or would have traded Detroit for Prince Fielder too. I think that would have been a better situation because Fielder's got 4 years younger than him. Fielder's also a left-handed bat, which I guess Cano is too, but Fielder would have came at a little bit of a cheaper price, and the age is the big thing for me. But I love Robinson Cano. How can you not be excited about Robinson Cano? And now I got to go back to my, logical baseball sense here. This team is a long ways away from being even remotely an average offense. With Robinson Cano, one of the best hitters in baseball, hitting in the middle of that order. It is still one of the worst, most pathetic rosters in baseball. We are talking about they need a new catcher. Zunino's not ready. Justin Smoke, for some god-on reason, they've let that guy swing and strike out 300 times every other day and hit at least 210. That's the best he can do. Maybe 220 on a very good year, and about 15 home runs on a really sweet year for him. And he doesn't seem to like to walk. Last year was the first time he did take a walk, which was nice. But he can't hit. We're talking about a first baseman who can't hit. So that's catcher and first base. Second base, you have Cano. Hip, hip, hooray, thank God. We have an unproven shortstop who didn't hit really well at the end of it last year, who's a rookie. There's no shortstop in the waitings for that. We have a good third baseman, solid third baseman in Kyle Seager. Brett Miller was the shortstop I was talking about. Really solid third baseman in Kyle Seager. I'm happy about him. On a good team, he hits 6th or 7th in the order. He's good for 80 RBI, 270 batting average, 20, 25 home runs on a really good year. So that's good enough for 6. I'll take it. Right field. They got no one. Center field, Dustin Ackley. Not gonna work. No. Left field, I hate to say it, but even though they don't have him signed, their best option still is Raul Ibanez. And they don't have a DH. They signed Willie Bloomquist. Maybe he's playing. I don't know what he's playing, but maybe he's starting now. Great. So as far as I can tell, you've got 2 positions that are locked down now. Second base, third base. The rest, you got squat. I mean, diddly squat. And you have no starting pitching depth behind Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma. You have no depth behind those 2. Taijuan Walker, great. I love him. I PC him. He's going to be a phenomenal pitcher, in my opinion. He's got all the makeup. He's a rookie. He's had 2 major league starts. They were good, but there was only 2 major league starts. You can't tell me he's ready to be a number 3. That's who you got to have as your number 5 and hope that he works out. And then you have Paxton. Paxton, again, you got to hope that he will perform. But he's a number 5. He's a rookie. He's had 3 career starts. He's not ready. You can have one of these guys be up as your number 5, but they're still missing a 3 and a 4. They don't have a closer. They don't have a setup man. They don't have a middle relief man. They have a couple of long relievers. So as far as I can see, let's just go over this. We need a catcher, a first baseman, a shortstop, a left fielder, a right fielder, a center fielder, a designated hitter, a number 3 pitcher, a number 4 pitcher, a setup man, that's 10, a closer, and probably 2 middle relief pitchers. So as far as I can add, it's going to take 13 moves for the Mariners to be ready. And going by budget, with Iwakuma, now Cano, and now Hernandez, that's about $60 million crossed off the list. Add in Bloomquist $3 million, that's 63. Not counting all the other arbitration guys and all that, you got about $15 million, about $20 million to fill out 13 players. Now, how's that going to work? How are you going to... They better be planning on raising the roof for that budget, because it can't work. Anyway, I would love to hear your comments below. That's my opinion on the Robinson Cano thing. They had to do it. It is the stupidest move that they have ever made, but it was the most necessary move for the Mariners to make, more so than any team in baseball. They had to show something. And finally, it looks like they might have a little bit of balls upstairs. Maybe a couple of pairs up there. Maybe. Let me know what you guys think below. Thanks, guys. See ya.